Hello my retro friends, thanks for finding my channel, Mike the Retro Realtor. Today we're going to talk about closing day. We talked about all the other steps about how a transaction goes through. We're actually going to talk about the close and what happens. We get to closing day and we're going to look at it from both the buyer perspective and the seller's perspective. So we're going to start with the buyer side. Buyer side, a couple things have already happened. In most cases, you sent out the money for either your down payment on a finance deal or the full amount on a cash deal prior to the day even starting. You do that the day before. The title company holds on to these funds until all docs are signed. So what you normally do is you'll do what we call a walkthrough. The reason for a walkthrough is, and if you live in Milwaukee, God forbid the basement flooded. Make sure any work orders are done that was negotiated through the process of the transaction. Just make sure that's all done. Make sure a tree didn't fall on you. You never know.
Now you know this house will last forever.
So you do your walkthrough, and assuming the house is in good shape, at that point you would be on your way to either the bank or a title company in most cases. Most of the time this is done at a title company, so I'm going to keep saying title company, even though it can be at a bank or even a lawyer's office, but that's very rarely done these days. Assuming all the money is at the title company, you will go there, you show your IDs, your down payment in most cases is already there through a wire. Sometimes they'll still accept the cashier's check, but there's been way too many shenanigans with that, and most title companies just want a wire. You send it from your bank the day prior. Works out just fine. And if it's a cash transaction, you just send the whole amount. There'll be a title agent there. Your realtor will also be there in most cases, but to be honest with you, at this point, you want your realtor to do nothing. That means everything's going to plan, everything's done. Your realtor hopefully will be sitting off in the corner, and you're going to be talking to either the lender or a title agent. So in most cases, the title agent, and they're going to go through all the credits, debits, everything, where all the monies are going and how we got to the amount of money that you're bringing in to close, and obviously the final amount that you're giving to the seller. And that takes about 15 minutes. On a cash transaction, once they go over all the numbers, the money's already there. Congratulations, you're done. On a finance deal, there's a couple more steps. There's a lot more signing. The title agent will go through all the things that you're signing. They'll explain to you your mortgage. They'll explain to you how your taxes are paid at the end of the year. They'll go through everything there. And that does take some time. A normal finance deal takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Then the wire comes through. Ideally, it's already there when you get there. This hasn't happened to me for a while where we're waiting for the wire to come through. But most times, the money's already there at the title company when we walk in. At that point, you sign all the docs, you get the keys. Sometimes you meet the seller, sometimes you don't meet the seller. But that's okay. That's pretty much it for closing on the buyer side on a finance and cash deal. You walk through the house, make sure everything's straight. You make sure the money's already at the title company. You sign a lot of things, and then you're done. It normally takes about 40-45 minutes on a finance deal, 10-15 minutes on a cash deal. Once all the documents are reviewed for the lender and approved, they call it funding, and then the checks are cut. So checks go out for the city taxes, to the seller, to the real estate agents, to the utilities, the water bill. They all get their checks. And at that point, you are completely done. So once the title agent says we're funded, congratulations, you're done, you own a house.
We're done when I say we're done.
On the seller side, it can be a lot less. Nowadays, the trend is for sellers just to pre-sign. So all the documents are already done. You just gotta make sure that the walkthrough goes fine. Your listing agent will be on top of that. Make sure everything's out of the house. You can go to the close if you like. Nowadays, it's become less and less where the actual seller goes to the close because they really don't need to. You can pre-sign. That actually makes things very convenient. You can pre-sign a week or so in advance. Most people do it the day or two before. What they'll do is they'll go to their title company. All the docs will be laid out for them. As a seller, you sign a lot less stuff. So sellers, when you do a pre-sign, you're in, you're out, hello, goodbye.
You're in and you're out. Past the jaguar of God who gets an extra C note a week just to watch the door. I mean, it's routine. Business as usual. In, out, hello, goodbye, and that's all there is to it.
5, 10, 15 minutes at the most. Takes no time at all. Then the title agent will go on your behalf along with your listing agent to make sure everything goes fine with close. Including all those documents, there's normally a POA that your title agent would have control of. And that's just to take care of any type of little loose ends or something like that. It does happen. You know, maybe they made a mistake on the tax documents or something like that. You know, if there's something there, that's what that person does. It's not uncommon to have a POA for these little things. If you do want to attend the close, and some people do, I mean, it's kind of a festive event. Some sellers want to meet the buyers. They explain the house a little further. That's all perfectly fine. I do see that from time to time. I'm saying it less than 50% nowadays. Now it's just done becoming the broker. As a listing agent, I show up and I say, yep, got any questions? No? Okay, great. That's why we're there. I know it's more of an old school thing to show up, and that's fine. Like I said, you don't need to. Closing date for the seller is much less involved, and some people like to walk to the title company and get a check, but the vast majority of people just receive a wire. So in most cases, you'll be giving your wire instructions to the title company, and then they'll just send the funds over the next day. In a nutshell, most closing days are very unstressful. There's not a lot of drama in them. You just kind of go through the day as it progresses. There's more work for the buyer, of course, but sellers got to make sure everything happens. And of course, the brokers will make sure the deal freaking closes, because sometimes it doesn't. But normally by the time you get to the closing table, we're pretty much done. So that being said, keep it retro, my friends. Thanks for hanging out.